What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of 10 Second Gems. I'd actually taken the week off to basically kind of map out my next 4 episodes, and then I was going to do 4 back to back. But man, this is on my heart, it's on my mind, and I don't know how long this podcast is going to be. I just decided I got to talk about this. And I don't know where this conversation is going to lead. So let's see where it goes. Yesterday, well, first of all, let's drop a gem real quick. Here's the gem. I don't know how many are going to be in here. This could be more of a rant, but the gem is there are cameras and there are microphones everywhere. Every conversation, virtually every movement you make could be and can be recorded, and maybe it is being recorded. Keep this in mind, all right? Keep this in mind. Also, keep in mind that how can I say this? In this world that we live in right now, loyalty and discretion, I guess you could say, isn't exactly a thing. Okay, now that being said, gem over, let's talk about this. So yesterday, I'm seeing all these posts about Kirk Franklin and his son, something about his son. So I asked somebody and I find out that basically Kirk Franklin, if you don't know who Kirk Franklin is, he's one of the biggest names in gospel music, has been for the last 25 years. He went off on his son via a phone call. He went off on his son. He cursed his son out. Okay. Now his son posted the conversation on social media, and now there's this big, as you can imagine, a big storm. People are flipping out. Some people are defending him. Some people are saying he needs to apologize, blah, blah. Okay. Let's unpack this. First of all, I'm not going to give y'all the churchy answer. I'm already seeing some of my friends with the whole, well, you know, he's a Christian, so even though he was mad, he has to still, blah. Nah. Let's stop that right there. Let's stop that. Number one, I'm a strong believer. You don't tell nobody how to raise their kids. That's number one. So those of you that are in the comment boards commenting and all that, stop it. You look stupid. For real. You look stupid. Don't go sending that man a bunch of Bible verses. Don't go posting on there about what he should. Nah, listen. You don't know what that man been through with his son. Okay? I teach teenagers as a day job. And boy, do I know how ungrateful and how shysty they can be. Okay? Now, I understand that we're believers. Now I'm talking to Christians right here, okay? This is to Christians. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Everybody else just stay here for a second. But I need to talk to Christians here for a second. Yes, we have to have integrity. Yes, we have to check our attitudes. Yes, we have to live as righteously as we possibly can. However, when your child is disrespecting you in the manner in which his son was disrespecting him, whatever you do is your business. If you got to hit your child, guess what? The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. If you got to go off on your kid so that they get the point, that's what you got to do. Now, yeah, my man was dropping F-bombs and everything, but listen, we don't know what that man been through with his son. We don't know how many more times his son has disrespected him and he has actually acted in a calm manner. Because from what I was hearing, I went in this morning, I heard it before I hopped in the shower. And this is really what sparked me to do this quick podcast. We don't know how many times he was calm. And from what I was hearing this morning, he sounded like he was basically at the complete edge with his son. Okay? So whatever goes on in that man's household, that's between him and his son and God. Okay, so sometimes this whole, oh, well, you know, he's a believer and he's a leader in the Christian community. Nah, listen, man. Oh, gosh. Okay. This is a man. This is a human being with feelings. Okay? Being disrespected by his son, who he probably raised very well, obviously was raised in a good home. We don't know. Now, am I going to say that parents should just talk to their kids like that all the time? Absolutely not. However, his son is grown. Okay? His son is pretty much a grown man, if not a grown man. From what I can see in the picture that was in the link I was listening to, dude looked like he's at least 20 years old. So, that being said, I'm gonna stand with Kirk Franklin on this one. About 5 years ago, right? A pastor named Creflo Dollar, who I'm not crazy about the guy, but whatever. He got the cops called on him, and he ended up getting put in cuffs and everything because he either told his daughter that she couldn't leave the house, or he threatened to smack her or something like that. Listen, again, that's that man's child. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. All we see is what the video and the audio put up. And that's the problem with a lot of people in society. A lot of us, we don't look, all right, what happened? Let's talk about that first. We don't look at that. We automatically go, oh my God, did you see blah, blah? Yo, did you hear the video? I mean, did you hear the audio of... So we don't know the whole situation. And as a society, we're so caught up with being in people's business that we don't really care what the truth is. The truth is whatever we looking at the time, and that's not cool. That's just not cool. I don't have kids, but again, I teach about 80 of them every year, 80, 90 of them every year. And trust me when I tell you, and these ain't even my kids. It's just kids that I teach and that I care about as, you know, as a human being, and that I have compassion for. Sometimes I want to grab them and shake them. There have been times where I've pulled my students aside and been like, dude, you are messing up right now. You messing up. And I hate to do that, but you know what? Sometimes when you do that with young people, that's how you get their attention. Quick story. About 5 years ago, I had a student that basically kept interrupting me while I was talking. And we laugh about it now. He and I are friends, and he kept interrupting me while I was in the middle of a lesson. So I asked him to step outside. I come outside, out to the door, and I told him to come outside. He wouldn't come outside. And everybody's laughing, and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna do nothing to you. You need to come outside and you need to talk to me in person. I don't yell. I've never yelled at a student, ever. Number one, because that's not my style of communication. Number two, there's cameras and microphones everywhere. I just said that. All right. There's a clip of a teacher yelling, shut up, shut up. And the kids are just making more and more noise. Terrible. I know you've probably seen it. But anyway, so I'm telling the student, come outside and talk to me, and I'm being very calm. And finally he goes out there, and I slammed the door shut. I was calm the whole time, but I was like, I gotta shock him, and I gotta get his attention. So he comes outside, and I slam the door shut real hard. As soon as I slam the door shut, his eyes are open as wide as they could be. And I said, now, you wanna play games with me now that it's just me and you? And he just stayed quiet. So I said, dude, you are being extremely disrespectful, and I'm not about to put up with that. Not from you, and not from nobody in that room. So either you could turn me into a bad guy by disrespecting me when we go back in that room, or you can sit your behind in your chair and you can do what you gotta do. Cause right now you looking real silly. He just stood there. All right, we go back inside. He sat down. You know, people and everybody in the class is like, whatever, talking and giggling, and that was that. Years later, we're laughing about it. Like I said, he's a friend of mine now, and one thing that he told me was, yo, nobody till that day. And this is a big kid. He's like 6'2". This is a big kid. He's bigger than me for sure. And he told me that till that point, that no one, not an uncle, nobody had ever basically like stepped to him like that. And we were laughing about it and I apologized. And he's like, no, listen, you got my attention and I'm actually glad you did it because it caused me to really think about like how I'm being disrespectful and who I'm being disrespectful to. And he said this, he's like, I'm a big dude. Nobody checks me on that. And he said, but honestly, like, I know it sounds silly, but you checking me really made me check myself. So anyway, I don't say that to brag. I'm just saying that to say that sometimes you just gotta get people's attention. Now, if that was my son, had that student been my son, when I took him outside, I probably would have grabbed him by his shirt and put him up against the wall. And probably threatened to smack him, seriously, just as a father, if that was my son. But see, there's a difference. Now, some of y'all are probably like, oh my God, you talking about hitting your son. I don't have kids, number one. Number two, my mother was very hard on me. We've talked about this on the podcast. But had my mother not been as hard as she was on me, even though I hated it as a kid, I don't know where I'd be right now. And there's a lot of stories out there like that where people say, man, had my mom not been so tough, or had my dad not whipped my ass as many times as he did, I don't know where I'd be. That's a common thing. So don't act like, oh my God, that's some sin against the world. Nah, fam. Leave that man alone. Stay out of his business. All right. He's running his house, period. And again, we don't know the specifics. We don't know what's been going on behind closed doors. We don't know how badly his son has been like that with him, whatever. Any which way, whether we did or not, is none of our business. All right. So let's cut that out. And this whole thing of, oh, well, as a Christian, he should have. Stop that. I said it earlier in this thing so far. Stop with that, guys. Stop with the churchy. Man, listen, some of y'all have hit your kids for less. All right. Some of you same people criticizing this dude have said worse to your kids for less. And I knew when I looked at some of these comments, I already knew what I was going to see. All right. So stop with the churchy, ultra churchy, judgmental stuff, because you look stupid and it's corny. That's one thing that keeps people away from church, is there's no realness. There's no realness. I mean, if we being honest about it, and you got kids and you listening to this and you went on something to comment, come on now. You either got well-behaved kids that you have managed strongly or semi-strongly, or you got kids that are all over the place and you can't handle. I'm just gonna put it out there. And church folks, everybody's perfect. Nothing's going on with nobody in the church. Everybody's fine. Everybody's okay. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden, this guy over here who's in the public eye does this, and now all of a sudden y'all want to be down his throat. Why? Because he's in the public eye? Because he's a Christian artist? That was funny, seeing that comment. Oh, well, he's a Christian artist and blah, blah, and he needs to... Let me tell you something. If y'all knew half the stuff that these Christian artists was doing on these tour buses after playing at churches, you would lose your mind. It would make what Kirk Franklin said to his kid look like a day at Disney. Trust me, I know this. And I'm talking both sides, CCM and gospel. So don't stop with the because he's a Christian thing. Let's say because he's a man, because he's not perfect, this happened. Let's not say because he's a Christian, he should have. Let's not do that. All right? This is why people don't mess with the church. This is why some people stay away from church. This is why some people stay away from church folk, because we quick to jump and start throwing rocks. I used to have I have a former pastor that had this line that he said one time, and it stuck out to me. 20 years later, I still think about it. He said, everybody is all about grace until it's for somebody else. Let that sit there for a second. I'm gonna say it again. Everybody is all about grace until it's for somebody else. Then all of a sudden we got an opinion. I don't have an opinion on what my man did. I think he's a dad that was fed up with his son, and he had to say something wild in order to get his attention. Maybe he's done it before. Maybe that's why the son was like, you know what, I'm gonna record him next time. But let's talk about the son though. Forget about Kirk Franklin. That's a flawed man dealing with his child in private. Let's talk about the son though. Why would you do that to your dad? Why would the son post that for the world to see? What's the motive? You got to ask yourself these questions. You can't just jump to conclusions and say that you know why any of that happened. For all we know, he was setting his dad up to get something that he wanted from his dad. Do you know? No, you don't know. Nobody knows, man. And we got like this court of public opinion now. It's almost like the media is like the courtroom, and we the jury, and then whatever we decide, that's what happens. Like, nah, fam. Nah, that ain't how this works. Cause I'm gonna tell you something. If I'm somewhere and I get into an argument with my wife, which me and my wife don't typically yell at each other. But if I'm somewhere and we take it there where we argued and we yelling, and somebody come over and tell me to stop yelling, or somebody tells me not to talk to my wife like that while I'm heated and she heated, I don't know how I would react. FOH. That's probably the first thing I'm gonna say. Use your imagination, man. FOH. Stay out of my business. I'm in an argument with my wife. So, again, you can't really. I got an email 2 weeks ago, telling me to stop saying shit on the podcast because that person can't enjoy the podcast because I've said shit a couple times on a couple different episodes. What am I supposed to say to that? I appreciate people listening to the podcast. But listen, this is my podcast. This is my platform. I have my friend Isaac. Shout out to my man Isaac Moreno. He's on episode 5. He texted me the other day to tell me, yo, do you, bro. Just do you. Whatever you doing, keep doing it, because people were loving it. I'm loving it. But see, here's another thing about church folk, right? Me saying shit on my podcast upsets you so much that you send me an email. But I'm curious to know, what do you have to say about other stuff going on in the world? Huh? That's a question I'm asking you. You know who you are. What are you concerned about? Because see, here's the thing. Somebody could drop a bunch of knowledge on you and accidentally say the word shit or purposefully say it, and you'll turn them off. But you also miss the entire point. You much rather complain about somebody saying what's considered to be a bad word than just saying, oh, damn, you know what? That was a powerful message. I don't like that he slipped up with a curse word, but wow. What he's saying, he got validity to what he's saying. But see, that's just it. And I feel like a lot of times with Christians, that's exactly what the situation is. It's exactly that. That's why the Bible says you can't judge people because you're going to turn around and do exactly what they do. Love the Bible for that. The Bible is, not to get preachy, but the Bible is so relevant to now. And I love how the Bible doesn't just correct the fallen. It also tells other people to stop judging because you're going to fall too. I love that. I love how balanced it is. If you don't believe in it, it's all good and no judgment here. I still love you. But yeah, people get so caught up in the little stuff that they miss the message. They completely miss the message. That's like people that mistake or misuse Bible verses to manipulate people or to make what they're doing okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, they not even listening for the blessing. They just listening for a green light so that they could go do what they want to do. And it's the same thing here. People looking for a reason. You know how many people have protested Kirk Franklin concerts? Them people that's down outside. There's a video, go look it up on YouTube. There's a video of Kirk Franklin coming outside of a venue to have a very calm conversation with a guy that has a sign that says that Kirk Franklin's going to hell because he's spreading the message of the devil, blah, blah, this and that. Kirk Franklin comes out and calmly has a conversation with the guy. Maybe we should start talking about that. That didn't go viral. I happened to see it because somebody sent it to me. Ain't gonna have as many views as him telling his kid that he would F him up. If he was my kid and he was disrespecting me too, I don't know that I would have been on the phone. I would have been telling him to his face. Personally. When is enough enough? When are Christians gonna stop being that way and start, number one, minding their own business? Because Christians is the nosiest people on the freaking planet, number one. Number two, anyway, this is supposed to be this is 10-second gems, man. What are you doing? Listen, I already gave you a gem. Technically, and it was a little longer than 10 seconds. So technically, I already fulfilled my part. But listen, man, you cannot judge this man for going off on his kid. Maybe he went off on him to not physically hit him. How about that? Are you asking yourself that? I'm sure there are a lot of people defending him on the comments and stuff. But maybe he did that to not smack his kid. Maybe. I'm guilty of that. You're guilty of it. Plenty of times in my lifetime, I've gone off on people instead of hitting them and said things to hurt them because I didn't want to physically hit them or physically hurt them. We're all guilty of that. And if you say that you're not, you're lying. We've all hurt somebody. If you're a human being breathing and living, chances are you've hurt somebody or you're going to in your lifetime. Give that man some grace. Stay out his DMs. Stay out his business. Again, trust me, if y'all knew what half of these other Christian artists out here doing, boy, oh boy. And that's the other thing. If your life is so entrenched in other people's business that when a gospel artist goes off on his son and tells him he'll F him up, then you need to get a life, fam. For real. Oh boy. That's like these all these activists out here. There's all these different tribal groups now. And if you don't agree with what they agree with, they try to cancel you, or they cancel you, or they get you fired from your job, or this, or they try to get you fired from your job. Even if you come to them and say, listen, before I even say anything, here's why I'm saying, even if you have a logical conversation, explanation, even if you let them know that you're not against them from the jump, The moment you say something that they don't agree with, bye-bye. If that's where society is headed, we're screwed. We're screwed. I think we're already trending toward being screwed anyway. But if we can't get to a point where we loving each other and we staying out of each other's business and letting people be human beings and make mistakes and all that, we're screwed. All these people that are out here in these different tribal groups fighting for what they quote unquote believe, they don't give a damn about truth. They care about their truth. They don't even care about facts. Right? They don't even care about facts. Trust me, I'm a high school teacher. There's times where I have to sit in these meetings and I'm like, but that's not even, forget about it being a belief. That's not even factual. And they're like, well, this is the way it is now. So blah, blah. What? Are you kidding me? Anyway. Yeah, this is one of those things that while I'm talking to you, my brain is like, oh, bring this up. Oh, but I have to be a little, trying to be a little cautious about what I say and how I say it. Guys, listen, here is a gem, man. If we all in this country or on this earth, if we all believed just one thing, if we all just believed one thing, I don't know that we would be happy. Okay? If we all believed just one thing, we would never make discoveries. We would never discover things, ever. Okay? We would never discover things. If somebody didn't believe that playing piano differently than the way Bach did could create a new sound, we would never have jazz. If somebody didn't create an electric guitar because they were bored with an acoustic steel string boxy kind of thing, we would never have freaking electric shredding, guitar shredding. We would never have none of that. Guys like not Elvis, because we all know Elvis was a thief. He stole music from black folks. But anyway, if we never had a Little Richard or I'm drawing blanks right now because I'm going off the cuff, but you know what I'm saying, if we never had Little Richard, if we never had some of these artists, some of these black artists that just went off and took gospel music and took it to another level, the Ray Charles of the world, you know what I'm saying, like the Fats Dominoes of the world. If we never had those guys, we would have boring ass music. And you don't think people were upset and pissed off, saying that these people were evil because of the way that they were playing the piano and the guitar and this and that? They made life so much better. They made music better. But these are because these people had different thoughts. They believed in different things. They believed that other things could happen with music. We so tied up and wanting everybody to believe and trying to force people with what we believe. Come on, y'all. We gotta stop that. Now, you're probably sitting there going, what? This is a Christian saying this? Listen, I'm in no place to judge nobody. And I'm not saying go believe in the devil. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we can't be forcing this on. We can't force our opinions and our beliefs on people. It's not going to work. It's going to be pushback. Always. Always going to be pushback. All right? We need to love each other, take care of each other, because I'm gonna tell you right now, these politicians that y'all love so much don't give a damn about nobody, not you and not me. Believe me when I tell you. That's just how it is. It's like that, and that's the way it is. All right? So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go here. I just wanted to drop this little 30-minute gym rant type of thing. Episode 7 is officially on the way. I'm editing it today, and that should be out on Monday. All right. So anyway, guys, y'all be good, man. Take care of each other. Love one another. Keep your mask on. This pandemic is real. And remember, these politicians do not love us. We need to love each other. Take care of each other. Y'all be safe. Have a good one. Oh, wait. Also, follow my Instagram page. The podcast Instagram page is 10 Second Gems. On YouTube is 10 Second Gems. That's the number 10 second word and gems. 10 Second Gems, all one word. You'll find us. All right, go follow that podcast. And guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Have a good one. Peace.